Yeah, and now with this next tier, this is the turkey, right? Right. This now we're in the top half, and as you were saying, for my rankings, we're in the top quarter really of teams in the league. I got three teams here, and there are two types to me. One of these teams has been winning games recently, but they were kind of icy on them. They're kind of I don't know what to do. And that's the 49ers. That's the 49ers. They've won at least their last three games. I'd have to check a ranking here. They've won four of their last games, I think, maybe. They've won four straight. But this is a team that there's a lot of talent on this team. Obviously, offensively, defensively, they've had a lot of defensive shutouts, like in quarters and halves. They at least shut out the Saints in the game. There are a lot of good skill players on this team. Also offensive, defensive. The question for me is whether it's enough, whether Jimmy G can carry that, whether they're going to make coaching, but like whether something wacky will happen, whether there'll be injury, whether something. I'm not fully bought in yet, but I'd say they're looking good. I think they're probably a playoff team, if not definitely a playoff team. I mean, yeah, NFC's gotten closer, so it's harder. I'd have to look back at our playoff predictions, but I think they're looking good. I think they have a lot of talents. I'd have to look at their schedule to really say more, but I mean, I think they're an interesting team. Any thoughts on them? I know there's other teams in this tier list. But now that there's so few teams, I was just curious your opinion on them specifically.
Yeah, unfortunately, the 49ers have continued to look better and better after I hammered them for this trade of McCaffrey, because at the beginning of the season, I just couldn't see this team really being a contender.
Yeah.
But everybody now everyone else's takes about them being really good and close is coming to fruition. And so, yeah, like that take of mine is probably looking kind of cold, honestly. But we're going to see as this season unravels. I mean, do I think that they can go to the Super Bowl? Maybe. So, but I don't know.
I'd be surprised, but yeah.
I don't know if I would take them against, Mahomes or someone. But the thing is, if they can get that D-line healthy, I mean, if they can disrupt the quarterback, no matter who they're facing, they have a pretty good chance. So I don't know. We'll see. I might have been wrong about the 49ers.
Ooh. Okay. Well, the next other two teams in this year, and I'm saying them at the same time, are the Vikings and the Ravens. And I'm putting these teams here like this because I feel like there's just something about them that I think is fishy. I think the Vikings letting the Patriots score that many yards. This Patriots offense has looked absolutely anemic. And you let Mac Jones like style on you like that. It's kind of strange. I think, and like defensively, I'd have to check this. I don't think they were getting all that many sacks either for a team that's the Patriots have been giving up tons of sacks. Mac Jones have been taking so many sacks, and yeah, part of that could be him playing differently. But I would have hoped for more defensively out of them. Offensively, they played pretty well. They're still a top team. I still think they're a top team. It's more this kind of rocky game against the Patriots, a game that I think with different officiating, I think the Patriots very well could have won this rocky game against Patriots after getting steamrolled by the Cowboys the week before. Like, it's more that those two, maybe it's a recency thing, but those two games really, I like even though they won the second one, it just gives me concerns about them. It definitely gives me concerns, makes me think that they're maybe not at the same tier as the teams above what I'm about to say.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
And the Ravens just lost to the Jaguars. The Ravens just lost to the Jaguars. The game against the Panthers they had, I think, the week before, that was a close game. They were not scoring a whole lot of points. It's as we said, I think last week, or like as you said, that they're kind of hot and cold. That the Ravens, they have been a lot of like fourth quarter collapses, like against the Dolphins being a big one. I think against the Bills, I believe against the Bills, like there's just the Ravens they're just losing more games than I think they should be. I think they're definitely this high from a talent standpoint and everything, but I don't know.
Ravens
I'm not sure what their deal is.
Ravens gave up like 500 yards passing to Tua in that like massive, like when they lost the lead there and that Dolphins got the comeback win. I would put the Ravens down to flat 10. Like, especially after the loss to the Jags, it just feels
to
like
the Jaguars.
they just, I don't know. I mean, it's just,
There's just
how can they
something going on.
can they keep losing these games like this? I don't know. I don't know who I'd move up. Maybe the Titans or the Giants.
You could swap with the commies. You think the they just win games? I don't know how they just win.
No, I wouldn't swap. They're playing
they
a last
Eagles.
place
They
schedule.
beat the Eagles.
Yeah,
they beat the Eagles too. Ooh, maybe you're right, Jared. I should move the Commanders up.
No, I wouldn't go that far. But
anyway, yeah. But yeah. I definitely get. Yeah, I was unsure what to do with the Ravens there. Well, we're gonna move on to the next tier.
Yeah.
I mean, and in the next tier, we got the Bengals.
What tier is this?
We got. That is a good reminder. This is the clean game tier.
Yeah.
Right. This is every frame in the bowling game you get a strike or a spare. You know, pretty pretty good thing to do. Pretty you leave no pins. No pins are left unknocked.
Exactly. All ducks in a row here with these teams.
All ducks in a row. We got the Bengals. We got the Cowboys. We got the Dolphins. And we got the Bills.
Wow.
And we got the Bills here as well. Yeah, I moved them down. I'm moving them out of the 300 tier. I was considering even having the Eagles in this tier. I decided against it out of respect for their 9-1 record. but I it's a China respect, and the fact that they did win. Just the Bills have we've just seen too much now. The loss to the Vikings and the tendency that Josh Allen has for red zone interceptions, and the fact that it feels like so much of the time it can really be on him. I know Von Miller had a knee injury. I think it was just an MCL, not ACL, so he may not be out as long. But I mean, for me, the biggest thing is that the Bills live and die by Josh Allen so much that it's a slightly risky mode. And maybe I'm just counting it more, but some of their losses to teams like the Jets kind of worry me. Yeah, I mean, this game to the Lions was a close game. That was a 3-point game. I don't know. And I mean, the Cowboys they're looking great, right? This, dare I say it, this could be the Cowboys' year.
Oh God.
I had to do it. No, but yeah, I mean, Cowboys are looking pretty good, right? Beating the Giants, pretty good team. Crushing the Vikings. Those are the last two games they played. Looking pretty good offensively. Things are looking, at least okay. You could say better than me. And for the sake of this power ranking, right? I'm not rating sloppiness. I'm not rating will the teams win a playoff game, right? I'm rating the teams, and I think this Cowboys team's looking pretty good. Same thing with the Bengals, despite question marks. Their offensive line is coming together a bit, and the Dolphins. I unfortunately have to put the Dolphins this high, because they scored 30 points in the first half, and because they are just good. Because they are just good. As much as it pains me to say it, I'm kind of raising an eyebrow at the fact that they didn't score any points in the second half. Not even off a turnover, not even a turnover, giving good field position.
They stopped playing Tua though.
Not even, they did stop playing Tua, but I'm surprised even on sheer run game and Skylar Thompson alone. I'm surprised that against the consensus 32-second team in the league, the Texans, I'm surprised that they weren't able to squeeze out a field goal.
Right.
But I'm not counting that against them all that heavily, because they're still, even if they scored, unless they literally put up 60 on the Texans, I would have kept them here. If they put up 60, then I would have said fine, I'll move them up. But like I'm not counting this against them, is what I'm saying. But it's still it's an odd thing to me. It's more just
as a Patriots fan, you have to find something bad to say.
I gotta exactly. I gotta find something bad to say, and I don't know.
Yeah, hey, listen, I do not envy your job here, because I don't know what to. When it's all in front of you, it's like, man, because the Bills, I like where you're at with the Bills. I agree that they're very dangerous, they're very good, but they make Josh Allen. They're so Josh Allen dependent. Sometimes it can be to the detriment of the team. I'm glad you finally got some respect on the Miami Dolphins. It's ironic having Cowboys in the clean game category because they can't be. I mean,
Opposite
they
of
just
clean.
yeah, exactly. It's just so sloppy. They're so undisciplined. And the Bengals definitely, I don't feel like belong here. I feel like I don't trust the Bengals. I feel like they've gotten kind of worse from last year, although they kind of turned it on late. So maybe you're kind of
There
anticipating
you
that.
go.
I just don't.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't trust the Bengals. I'd put them
I'm just
down
hot.
definitely. I like
ice cold Burrow.
I like Joe Burrow.
They've been winning these
but
games. They've been putting up these points without Jamar Chase. You know, T Higgins. They just got T Higgins out there. You know,
yeah, hey,
and plenty
listen,
other. I don't know.
fair enough. Fair
They
enough.
have
Listen,
that impressive.
this is so
Yeah.
like these three tiers are just so like. What do you do with the Vikings? Like, I guess the Vikings need to be in Turkey, but
should they go up one?
they've only lost to Philadelphia
they've only
and the
lost.
Cowboys. Like,
yeah, exactly. Those are two very good. Those are two top two tier teams. Like, do you move them up? Very
but they're not as good as the Bills,
like
right? They're not as good as Miami.
Yeah, but I don't think they're as good as the Bills, even though they beat the Bills. But I don't think they're as good as the Bills. Generally, but I mean, But that's the thing. The Bills are so Josh Allen. That was like, oh, exactly. But this is the thing, and this is when this gets us. This flows perfectly into the 300 tier.
Yeah,
and these are teams who, and like I was saying, almost with the Eagles, this loops back to the imposters segment we did earlier. These are two teams I feel like do not have massive glaring weaknesses. The Eagles have had some games be closer than I would have thought. This Packer game's closer than I would have thought. Colts game closer than I would have thought. Lost to the Commanders. There have been some kind of games with them, which is why I was thinking of moving them down. But they're still winning they're still winning most of these games. Other than the ones that are kind of like other than the Commanders, they're winning the games, even if they're not always looking pretty. They rushed for almost 400 yards. The Packers offense was looking pretty good, which you could say, oh, that means the Eagles defense wasn't playing great, but I didn't feel like it was a massive. Their starting safety went out. CJ Gardner-Johnson, I think he's a safety. Either way, he's the interception leader of the league. He went out. So I can see them giving up more points, but I think, yeah, I mean, they're more here weak. The Chiefs are just amazing, right? Chiefs, just all facets look great, I would say. I mean, there's nothing really I can't really think of anything major to critique other than what we kind of talked about in the imposters, where sometimes they can give up points, but it ends up not mattering because they just win the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And but the truth is, it's sort of similar for the Eagles. They give up a lot of points, but
yes,
they usually are up so early that they don't have to get away from their scheme, their offensive scheme of this read option, run pass option, and so and then can they play from behind? We saw them in Washington not really put it together while they were behind, but we did see them against the Colts with a comeback.
And a lot of that was there were one or two fumbles there too, weren't there? On the in that like Commander. I remember they got at least one of them in the Commanders game. They had this massive bomb pass, dude's open and everything, and he runs with it, and then it just gets knocked out. And that's still right. They still fumbled, right? They still lost. They still fumbled, but it's not like it's not like they were just even in that loss. It wasn't like they were completely not getting nothing going. It was like something might happen, and then boom, fumble, which is relatively random. Right, I know fumbles are relatively random.
No, right. Well, and that's the thing. That early in the season, they just did not turn the ball over at all. I think they turned the ball over 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. They were
weeks or something ridiculous. So, I think that Philadelphia. When I watched them last night, man, I got no doubts about that team. They are good. And you want to say what they played the Vikings? They beat the Vikings. They played the Cowboys and pretty handedly beat the Cowboys. Did
they play the Giants? I think they did beat the Giants. No, I think they still play the Giants twice. I think they're still yet to play them.
Yeah, either way, I just think that
either way.
This whole running QB thing, you can do the design run or even the peel out of the option.
Dynamic.
It's when he's playing that good, it's hard to stop.
yeah. The Packers could not stop it. It was like it was something else.
And join the club. And join the club. Now they did it on a terrible at a terrible standard. But I mean, the Cowboys have one of the best defense in the leagues. They could not figure out. They completely neutralized Micah Parsons in that game against the Cowboys, and they'll probably do it again.